What's going on, everybody? If there's anybody in the chat right now, let me know if it sounds okay. Just want to make sure that we're all good here. Just going to double check something here because the chat doesn't seem to be working. Fun. Okay, there we go. So I'm getting chat on here, which is okay. Ooh. All right. So it looks like I'm looking down at my phone every so often. It's because I've got the chat going. Hey, Justin. Hey, Dennis. Hey, Mark. Hey, Perry. Hey, Dwight. Hey, Indian Head Valley. You guys okay? You guys can hear me all right? Oh, Brandon's here as well. Hey, Brandon. How's it going? I'm just going to double check one thing and I'll be right back. Okay. Hey, Wyatt. Hey, Phoenix. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's see here. Loud and clear. That's good. That's good. We're going to get started in 1 minute. Hey, Chris. Yeah, we had to put Mark in a bubble, so he probably won't be joining us tonight. He's in the chat, though. And yeah, this is probably coming up backwards on your end there. When you watch the replay, I think it'll be turned around. So unless you guys are seeing it normal, but it's very bright. You can't really pick up the yellow. It's all good, though. Hey, Lauren, how's it going? Okay. Well, it's 8 o'clock. It means it's time for GVO After Dark. This is number 17, or as I like to say, season 2, episode 5. This is the once a month live show that I host. And unfortunately, like I said, Mark is in a bubble. He's in quarantine. I'm in quarantine. And Dave, we just banished him for telling really bad jokes. So Dave couldn't be here as well. Basically, in this episode, we've got lots to talk about. There's a bunch of announcements from Rapido, Athearn, Walthers, and Microtrains. We got some new stuff that have just arrived in store from Rapido, Atlas, Athearn, and Walthers. And we've got some news as well. An all-female Flying Scotsman hits the rails. That's going to be the tagline there for it. We're going to do a bit of a channel update, a bit of a layout update as well. Just overall, everything else besides GVO. We're going to do some shoutouts, and I'm going to show you how you can save some money, because who doesn't want to save money? But first, I've got my tempo going around. It's the CN VIA version of the tempo. It passed already. It'll be back. It comes around every so often. I'm really excited about that train. I only have 4 cars right now, hoping for the number 5 eventually. Brandon, it's on the other side. I'll do it next time. But yes, he was very nice, and he got me a hopper, a cylindrical hopper. The Saskatchewan one looks really nice. I hope to get more different Canadian style ones. Yep. All right, so I'll do the news first, because that's the old fashioned. I always do the news. So this past month, we celebrated International Women's Day. That's right. So March had International Women's Day. So I thought, why not have a news story that involves women? So to mark this special day, an all-women's crew, including 4 sisters, have operated a train from Edinburgh to London. The LNER Flying Scotsman service is being rebranded as the Flying Scotswoman for the month of March, in a bid to encourage more women to consider a career in the rail industry. The women filled roles including driver, train manager, and chef. The original Flying Scotsman was the first train to come out of the newly established LNER nearly 100 years ago. About 42% of LNER employees are women, but according to a poll of 890 women commissioned by the company, 85% of working-age women in the UK have not considered a career in the rail industry. People director Karen Lewis says, "What we're trying to do is celebrate all the wonderful roles women can have in the rail industry. We're trying to get women to change their perception of the rail industry." And I think it's great. I think it's great that women are able to get jobs like that, and they're celebrated. I had a whole spiel, of course, but it's tough because I have so much stuff to do. But I had to do a lot of this last minute and whatnot. I want to give a huge shout out, although, to Otter Valley, because of the fact that I placed an order the other day, and I was really worried that I wasn't going to get it in time, and it did come today. So a big shout out to Lauren at Otter Valley and his wonderful staff as well, because they make a great team, and they're able to actually get the stuff out the door and in my hands and other people's hands quickly and efficiently. And if it wasn't for them, then I wouldn't have any awesome trains to show you. So big shout out to them. Go women. And that's my wife for you. All right. Let's see here. What are you guys saying in the chat? Hey, David. Yeah, unfortunately, everyone's in quarantine, so here I am, and playing with my trains. Let's see. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? Now, I'm doing something a little bit differently this month because there was, I wouldn't really call them complaints, but concerns, because my internet connection is not amazing. It runs my TV. I can download and upload videos here and there, but sometimes doing a live is kind of, spotty. So I hardwired my computer. So I hope that both the sound and the picture quality are better, because it could just be the Wi-Fi. I've never been a fan of Wi-Fi, and I work for a telecommunications company. So, I'm not going to give you a biased opinion. I just hate Wi-Fi. It's good for, connecting a cell phone or a tablet, but when you're playing video games or, doing like video conferencing, unless you have amazing connection, it's not going to be up to par. You could have 1,000 megabytes coming in, but if your Wi-Fi sucks, then it's gonna suck. So hopefully the picture's good. Oh, perfect, guys. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I guess that would be the way that I'm going to try to do it then from now on, because, it's very distracting if you guys are listening to me talk about trains and it goes in and out, here and there. And, you can't even enjoy, the train going by without it being all like here and then here, you know what I mean? But now we got some crisp, clean run-bys brought to you by Rapido. It's really bad when I laugh and I'm the only one here. It feels weird. Hopefully this thing is over and done with soon, because I need my co-hosts back. So anyways, I got some announcements. So Rapido, actually, and you guys have seen the containers and whatnot that I showed off last month. They're actually doing a second run. They announced a second run, and there's a whole bunch of new schemes, but they're also running some of their old schemes again, just different numbers this time around. That way, you can have the same containers, like more of the CP or CN, but you don't have doubles. So that's really good. Rapido also announced their Fairbanks Morse H1644 Phase 3 locomotive. It's a mouthful, but DC version is about MSRP 250, or a DCC sound 350 for one of those bad boys. Got a whole bunch of road names to choose from: B&O, Milwaukee, New Haven, N&W, Penn Central, Virginian, in that nice black and yellow, almost like a bumblebee, and CN green, and of course CP in the maroon. Athearn, they actually announced, now this is both HO and N scale, so it's going to be available for both. Athearn Genesis 33,900 gallon LPG tank car. I loves me some Procore. My friends know that. And they actually have some Procore, UTLX, UPEX, SRIX, TILX. There's a lot to choose from. But you're going to have the choice of a single or a 3-pack for both HO or N scale. $60 for a single HO, or a 3-pack is $180. But if you're an N scaler, $34 for a single and $96 for a 3-pack. Again, it's all MSRP. Those numbers could change. And to be honest, I'm not sure if that's Canadian MSRP or American, but, ballpark, right? Check with your dealers. Obviously, you'll want to check with Otter Valley, because you're going to get a better price than that probably anyways. So give Lauren a shout and see what they got for you. Athearn Genesis SD60M. After the success of the Big Mac, they're still pushing out these monster locomotives. They're really good to see, because we had the Big Mac here, and it was Brandon's, and it runs like a dream. And he didn't even do anything to it yet, except for adding the DCC and sound. But either way, it runs like a dream, so that's good. You can get it in CP, UP, NS, BNSF, BN, and again with the MSRP DC, you're looking at $250, and DCC sound $290. Again, it's just MSRP. And of course, this one, this was kind of out of left field, because when they announced it, they only announced it as Amtrak Phase 2, 3, and 4, and that was it. But looking at the Walthers website, if you look up the Walthers Mainline F40PH, they've announced not only the Amtrak Phase 2, 3, and 4, but they also announced a couple of the Vias. So you can get the Via Renaissance, or the older gray and yellow, in DC or DCC sound from Walthers Mainline, which is great. DC, $140 for one of those, and $200 for the DCC sound. They've been putting out a lot of really neat locomotives lately, and I know that they've done this one and a lot of the older runs of the other Via F40, but it's good to see that they're doing a lot of the newer ones as well. So, and especially at that price. So that's not bad at all. Seeing as how most of these will run you about $300 to $350, depending on where you get them from. And that's a Rapido. So hopefully Dave shows up on the chat there, and we can kind of poke fun at him a little bit. I was originally going to say that he is grounded, but I thought it would be funnier to say he was banished. So, also with the Walthers mainline F40s, you also get the Horizon car fleet, and also 85-foot Bud passenger cars, all with the Amtrak. And those passenger cars are Phase 4. Now, Walthers is actually releasing another set of the 59-foot cylindrical hoppers. This one's a Bachmann, but very close. I mean, if you're looking at it, the only difference would be a little bit more of a see-through walkway. But even the undercarriage and whatnot, there's a bit more details on the end. But the Walthers ones, I love those. I've had a bunch of them in the past, and I look forward to getting some more. And you'll get the blue Alberta one, CN, CP, Logimex, Procore, and it's like the orangey copper Saskatchewan one. Really nice cars. I know they already did the Alberta ones, but if you're doing anything Alberta or Canadian, you got to have a bunch of those. I might just get a whole bunch and set them along a track and just leave them there for several years, just like the real ones. But either way. And here's an N scale announcement for you. Dave was supposed to do this, but he's grounded. No. Microtrains is actually releasing a CP Rail weathered tie loaders. So it's actually a pack that you get three gondolas in N scale. They're all different. They're all weathered. And then on one of them, you actually get a little crane. It's like a crane. It has like a little grabber, and it picks up the ties and it loads it in. I mean, it doesn't actually do that, because that would be awesome. But it moves back and forth, and I'm sure the little arm moves. But yeah, you get all of that for $100. That's MSRP, of course, and they're pre-weathered for you, which is awesome. So. Procore. Wrong core. That has just hit the shelves. I believe it was today even. The Rapido FA FB2 units. Despite everything, they still managed to be able to get those shipped out, and Otter Valley does have them in stock. So that's good. For the DC units, for the locomotives, you're looking at 214 and 306 for the locomotive. And for the B units, 192 for the B, no sound, and 285 for the B unit with sound. You have a few options: CP, LNN, NYC, SP&S, Penn Central, and Western Maryland. Quite a few to choose from. Obviously, you're going to want an AB unit because they look great together, right? And you can pull lots of stuff. HO Scale, Gunderson, Multi-Max Auto Racks just hit the shelves this past month. They look amazing. Now, not all of them have been sent out yet. Just the KCS and the CN / GTW, Grand Trunk Western, I believe. So it was X Grand Trunk, I believe. But there's more on the way. Hopefully looking for that CPX Sioux line, the all white. It looks so clean and crisp. I know I've talked about it a lot. I'm probably going to try to get one just to show off because they're so awesome. Let's see. Who's in the chat? All right. Yeah, so it's going to be kind of a mix-up of who you want to get your Horizon cars from. You can either get them from Rapido, or you can get them from Walthers. As far as Walthers, they've been known to put an interior in their cars lately, but no lighting. So if that's something that bothers you, if you want, more undercar detail, go with Rapido. It's hard to say, because I've done both. Especially when it comes to the Via cars. Like I'll run my Via cars religiously because I think they're awesome. They stay on the track, they work, they couple real well, and they're great rollers, just individual rollers. But Rapido stuff, except for the older couplers, like a lot of the newer couplers, are really good. I full on love the tempo cars and whatnot. And I believe we even tested because Mark has the older, I want to say Super Continental Via cars, the blue smooth sides or whatever. And the couplers weren't staying together on the layout. So I took my extra tempo couplers and I switched out the ones that he had. And the thing was flying around the track like no problem. So the new couplers that Rapido has, I have absolutely no problems with them. So just in case you've ever worried or wondered, but yeah. So besides the Atlas Gunderson Multimax Auto Racks, so they're $80 each. So they're really nice. They're really nice. I've seen some videos. There's a lot of debate whether or not you go scale trains or Atlas. I'm a big Atlas guy myself, so I would naturally sway that way. But everybody, like, there's a hardcore scale trains guys out there, but it is what it is. Everybody has a preference, so ain't nothing wrong with them. Then we've got and we're going to talk more about these after, obviously, because they are awesome. And I was running these earlier, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So Athearn Genesis, you guys are getting 10,000 times better. With every model I get from Athearn, it just seems even better than the last. Because I had a CP one. I got a CP one a few months ago, this year sometime. But then I switched over to CN. Well, I was always doing CN, but I wanted to focus more on CN. So I picked up one of these. These are the new ones. They've got the rubber MU hoses, which is new for Athearn, which is great because they're not going to break off like the plastic ones. There's some cool piping that goes right down here, and it's separately applied. They've got all their little lift rings on there, winterization hatches on both sides, plows at each end. It only has ditch lights on the front, so none on the back, but they have a really nice plow, and it's painted as well. Then they've got the horn and the bell as well, with all the grab irons and whatnot already applied because it's awesome. And I can't stop looking at this thing. Like, when you see it on camera, it doesn't really do it justice, except for when I saw Lauren do a video of his, and I knew right away. I was like, oh, great, now I need one. You know what I mean? So I'm very happy with it. The sound is good, and even though I'm not a huge Tsunami guy, Tsunami 2, so I call it a Toonami. That's probably just a me thing. I don't know if anybody else calls them Toonami. I'm weird like that, though. It's fine. But those GP38-2W, they go for $310. I didn't see them in DC on the website. I might be wrong, but I think they only got 4 numbers of these, which is fine because it is what it is. And they come with new LED lights and the rubber MU hoses, which are great. So, and I think my cat's down here somewhere, and she's causing trouble. She already came over and wanted a high five from me, but I don't know where she is now. So, and then of course, as I was saying, I wonder what's going on here in the chat before I go on to the next one. I'm so far behind. Okay. I got a first run GP38 And what did you think of the first run there, Brandon? Okay, so I'm waiting for Brandon's. Waiting for just Brandon's response there. I don't know if he's even watching. That's fine. Next up, I'm going to do the Walthers GP9. This has the lower nose to it. I think they call it a chop nose. And this thing here. Okay, so this is another one that I saw. And then I saw that it was only $200. And I was like, I mean, if it's $200, like, you know, you get very skeptical because most, you know, other locomotives from other manufacturers are at least $300. In some cases, you'll see, you know, some of the Atherns at, you know, 250 even, you know, but this here, it has ESU, and I was running it earlier, and again, blown away. It sounds amazing. It rolls like a dream. There's two crab crew. They're not crabs. They're not crab people. They're cab crew. So there's two guys in the cab. Wow, that was a lot. So yeah, it was $200 for a DCC sound locomotive. And if you want to get it in just DC, it's $142. So you get a choice of CN, Chessie System, Conrail, Chicago and Northwestern, CSX, Illinois Central, or Soo Line, or So. I think it's Soo Line, but either way. And also Microtrains, another N-scale announcement. They actually, well, not announcement, this new in store. The Ontario Northland Microtrains 50-foot gondola. So it looks just like this, only much, much smaller because it's N scale. Only one number, which is kind of weird. But, I mean, they look great. So for those N scalers that do need some decent gondolas, there's some, at least some Ontario Northland ones now for you. So that's a lot. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, no doubt. Like since the first run to this run, yeah, the price is definitely changed. So I hope everybody's been good over the past, you know, week or so there, because I know that being stuck inside, it's crazy. You know, I work from home now. I haven't worked yet from home, but I'm all set up and I'm good to go for tomorrow. The less that you go out, the better. And yeah, stay inside. There's lots to do. In fact, you know, I made a list because I'm always making lists. People always ask me, Chris, do you like making lists? And I say, let me make a list about the reasons why I like making a list. No, it's never that bad, but hey, Chris, how's it going? It's everybody be health and safety. So things you could do. Keep busy with your kits. Keep building them. I've got a whole bunch that I'm working on one at a time. Little ones, big ones. Yeah. And then obviously as well, you know, you have to paint them. You have to weather them. Lots of other things to do. You actually get a chance to weather your locomotives, work on the DCC side of things, and change up those CV values, customize them a little bit more for your operations. Check your wiring. So obviously with layouts, you want to make sure your wiring is perfect. You don't want any dead spots and whatnot. Clean up the wiring and stuff like that. Mark, I'm looking at you. Nah, just joking. But also, lay track, add an industry, work on the industries that you have and try to make them grow, make your layout go. I'm thinking about doing an expansion. Am I going to do it right now? No, but I'm going to plan it out and make sure that it works for what I need to do. And then slowly I'll be able to implement it. And then finally, run trains. You have this time now where you can break in those locomotives. You can enjoy the hobby. It's not a rush season. It's going to be summer eventually, and you're probably not even going to want to look at trains because it's summer and you'll be able to get outside and it's beautiful. So take the time to enjoy the hobby and, run trains is what I do. I'm actually, ever since I got a loop going, well, now I've got multiple loops going. All I've been doing is running them around, getting them worked in, get the gears worked in, forward, backward. You got to make sure you do it on slow and fast. You don't want to break any gears. You know what I mean? So, why does my screen keep turning off? Trying to watch the chat, but oh wait, hold on. What's this? Whoa. Okay, hold on a second.
Whoa.
Let me see if I can.
Is this allowed? Is this approved social distancing?
I think that I think we can do this. Let's see.
All right.
I'm gonna put you up here. Hopefully my arm doesn't get too tired. How's it going?
It's good. Trying to adhere to social distancing and work on the trains and that. Right? Don't touch the face now.
Don't touch the face.
Yeah, definitely. You having the hardline connection tonight, that definitely improved your quality.
Yeah, it was.
Actually, after you said that, I went to a hardline too.
Honestly, it makes a world of difference. For me, because I know how Wi-Fi works, in my line of work, I get a lot of calls where people are normally yelling at me. So this is a pleasant change, having somebody not yell at me on the phone. But with Wi-Fi, it's very tricky because you're taking a percentage of your speed away just from connecting to Wi-Fi. And a lot of people don't know that. They think that they'll get full speed even though they're on Wi-Fi. So it is what it is. I could go into it deeper, but what are you up to?
Well, I'm still at work. We're deemed an essential, but really, I'm a bean counter. My wife really is essential, being on the front line at the hospital. We're still at the shop open. We're just shipping out. I've got the Saturday and Sunday open, so I'm going to lay some more track in the yard, get some more Chi-Chus as opposed to running, and hopefully when the quarantine comes out, I can get a couple of my guys back to help me put the helix and the 2% decline for 20 feet and the 1% decline for 20 feet in, and then put the bottom of the Wellington crossing.
That's great. I've been watching your lives, and I hope everyone else has been too. Now, you normally do them on Facebook. So if you don't have a Facebook, or if you do, then look up. Is it under? I'm confused. Is it under Lorne or is it under Otter Valley?
Sometimes I do it under Lorne, so that way relatives can see what Izzy and I are doing. So if you're not already in front of me on Facebook, definitely add me. It's Lauren James. You'll see I'm the chief bean counter to Otter Valley. So, and you'll see Isabel on her steps on my picture playing with her tempo. So if you don't see a 2-year-old playing with a tempo, you got the wrong Lauren James. I sometimes will do it on the Otter Valley. I'll probably do some stuff this weekend, like live stream on there, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, because I assume this weekend will be very intensive social distancing and stay in for a lot of people in North America. Izzy likes doing the videos because then she can run the camera, or she can run the train, or she can run both, or she can tell the cat how much, the cat's distracting her train for the night.
Yeah, she is adorable. She has those cheeks you just want to pinch.
Every time I come home from work, it's dada choo-choo, so.
Oh, yeah. Get them young, right?
So she's getting used to it. She loves the NC Power Cab with the easy thumb wheel throttle and all the easy buttons. So she knows where the horn is, the bell is, the brakes, change direction. She doesn't hit the emergency stop anymore like she did the first couple of times when she had the throttle. So,
does she have a favorite locomotive?
Well, she had a big boy, but she's been lately playing with an SD70M, or actually an SD70M-2 blue CFX unit. Hers is 142. She likes blue units, so does her mama. So they like blue. That's probably because it's like the only color she'll say, blue.
Mm-hmm.
So, but usually she does that, and she's been liking a lot of her VIA stuff lately. So
that's awesome.
We usually run a freight train with a VIA on the front and a VIA on the back.
Sweet. Now, I didn't get to do it at the very beginning because I know who you are. I know some of my viewers know who you are, but I don't know if everybody knows who you are. So on the horn right now, we've got Lauren, and he's the president and CEO. Is there any other abbreviations we want to add to that?
I think when I bought the company and I put like owner, like CEO, I probably was like inflating my brain. I'm the owner of Otter Valley, but I'm a very much a hands-on owner. If you ever come in the shop, you can see me in the back scrubbing the toilet, packing parcels, fixing stuff, or pulling my hair out. I do many things. So
a jack of all trades.
I'm not a guy in an ivory tower in the back office. So I do pretty much anything. Right now, I usually do all the importing. I can't legally cross Port Huron right now. Our product is deemed non-essential, so I can still be open and selling product through mail order and online, with no walk-in allowed by the provincial law, but I can't import, so I'm kind of like stuck. So Atlas has got some new stuff, like you were talking about with the Multimax. They're sitting in my U.S. address, can't pick. I've got monster refills ready to order, but like the COVID's not just like impacting Canada and Europe, but now it's starting to hit many states. So Walters is just running a very skeleton crew. They're giving their dealers anywhere from 1 to 4 days to get their orders out. Some states they're banned from being in the buildings. So. I think short term, a lot of customers, a lot of modelers need to expect that there's going to be supply chain disruptions for a while. I need some stuff on my layout to work on, and I'm one of the large Canadian. I can't get access to it because I need to go and physically pick it up, lay some more bench, just run some trains. I mean, and the crazy the world is, just something as simple as like you're doing back there, tempo running it around. Probably like a very soothing thing on a day where it's stressful. There's a high amount of news, and you're constantly digesting, changes in all of our lives. Really, to have that stress relief from just running your trains. I mean, I can't run a loop of mine. It's a stress relief just running trains with my daughter, and we go point to point. I took her, and then we went double back, and she doesn't know that I'm a double back. I mean, when she thinks she's a year older, she'll throw out like Dad is cheating the system. But I'm hoping within like a month or two, I can do a whole loop. But and it's a great opportunity for people just to get back to the trains and spend time. And, eventually things will get normal. Things will calm down, and life will go on. But it's a very tense time for a lot of people. I know a lot of business owners are struggling. I've had some days where I've had to come up and make work for my staff. I've kept all my staff employed. I do not want to lay any of my staff off.
No, it's very important.
If that means that I've got to go, in the hole bit, or I've got to go no owner compensation, then so be it. But the welfare and the well-being of my staff is first and priority, and the well-being and the safety of my customers is second to none. So we're doing everything we can to make sure customers are happy with the hobby and that we can bring some joy. I was glad to hear your parcel arrived. It's a stressful time for your Canada Post staff. It's a stressful time for UPS people. It's a stressful time for FedEx people right now. Parcel demand is surging. People are still needing supplies. Amazon's picking up more and more of the food and grocery business, and those people are essential. They're front line, and at times they can be put into unsafe situations. So, have a little bit more patience if your parcels are a couple days later. Everybody's trying their best in these times. So,
we really.
I get a few emails every so often saying, my parcel's delayed or this, and I just say, it's shipped. Or we're taking additional precautions in the shop, and we've had to intensify cleaning, intensify the well-being of the staff is first in priority, the well-being of the customer, and the well-being of your postie and your postmaster and those staff is important too.
Agreed. And I really appreciate you guys still being able to send out parcels and whatnot. Like I said, it's that time where, you could be filling up your time with building kits and, just doing the things that take your mind off of all the horrible things that are going on in the world, to be honest. And, just being able to sit back with your family and get that time in. Because even for myself, I don't get a lot of time with my family because of work. So now being able to work from home, even just that, it's nice. And being able to get a bit more time to work on my hobby, that's been really nice too. I've gotten so much done in such a short amount of time just from being able to be home. So it's really, it's a hit and miss situation, but you try to make the best out of a bad situation,
Well, I think everyone has to look at it from the point of view of it appears from a medical and from an economic that this should be a short-term downward trend. But, once the medical and the biological side, improve, some of the current economic treadway will dissipate and kind of get back to normal. So, it's a hard thing when you have your leaders and your premiers, speaking every day. But, at the end of the day, they're trying to do the best they can to put the health and safety of the people of the province of Ontario and the residents of Canada, first and foremost. And it's a challenging time. But like you said, a lot of people this week have been getting parts, we've been shipping parts, whether it was styrene or kits or wheel sets or decoders. Even something simple as changing out wheel sets and KDs can take your mind off stress for a couple hours in the evening. Very, very inexpensive kind of work. Or taking some weathering powders and working on some cars. I mean, one of my sales reps, you've met her before, Hilda. She's back. I know many customers have dealt with her before. She's been trying her hand the last couple of days on homemade custom graffiti.
Nice. With
fine art pens and weathering.
Nice. Are you going to be posting pictures to the Instagram and the Facebook?
Yeah, she's trying to convince me to try to do some sort of choo-choo talk on TikTok, but I haven't really convinced yet to do that.
That's too. I'm too old for TikTok now, I think. So I don't get it, but hopefully that works out, because that would be cool to see. A lot of, especially if she's doing a lot of work like that. I think it was Justin about BearShare and LimeWire last week. I think Napster is an option too.
Yeah, I can under Napster and WinMX, and I still use Winamp.
Yeah, Winamp. Yeah.
22 years later, still using Winamp. People tuning in tonight, to the live show, it, makes the day so much better when, channels are filled with classic hockey or classic basketball or constant news feed. And, the ability to tune in tonight and just talk about trains and a hobby that so many of us love, it's fantastic.
Agree. It's why I do this, every single month. I'll sit down and I'll write this whole thing out. Sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes 5 days, but I think at the end of it, it's just sharing something that I love with, all my friends and the viewers and, everyone who just wants to hear me talk for an hour or so, but, or anyone who's willing to listen. Right. But yeah, it's just sharing the hobby.
The model you got in front of you, I mean, that chop nose for $200 was sounds great value.
Right? Like, I was playing with it earlier. I couldn't wait. I was like, no, I'm going to play with this now.
Now it's the only yard goat on the market for CN available. When they arrived back in July of 17, you had like 200 on spec.
Mm-hmm.
They're gone.
Oh, yeah.
And, I've been running my 4 lately. I was able to get a 4th unit for $1444. Rapido's kind of said they'll do it in 3 or 4 years. Right now, the common popular one is the 38, the show I did, a 38-2 wide cab.
Mm-hmm.
They're leading a lot of CN locals, a lot of transfers. The other one that's been super popular, okay, CN is still using older stuff. One item that I've been trying to push Atlas and Northern to make is the GTX GP38 that CN's got on lease. You recognize them with the blue sides and the white nose. CN has them on a short-term lease, but the story is they probably are going to purchase them outright. And all those units have an interesting history. Like if you ever look up a unit you shoot, some of them are ex-Long Island units, DT&I, New York Central, Penn Central. Some of them are ex-Grand Trunk. So it's like they all have a diverse EMD history of previous owners.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of cool when you got like a New York Central, Penn Central Conrail unit still in service today. Plowman. He finally got a GTX unit off eBay because he was staring at mine for like years, and he's just like, "How'd you get one?" I'm like, "I got this back in 2012." Mm-hmm. You're not getting this.
Yeah, no. Some of those ones that were released like 5-6 years ago that you're not seeing them on shelves right now, obviously, right? But you got to hang on to those ones.
And I mean, a lot of people are on a overabundance of new releases coming in the next 60 days.
Mm-hmm.
This event with COVID-19 happened with the fallout of the Chinese New Year, which always has slow product arrivals in April and May. Mm-hmm. And there is some auto racks, to be picked up. But I mean, the next item that's really coming to the Canadian market is the diners.
End of April, early May, probably, right?
Probably more likely end of April, May-ish. It's still slow in the ports. It's still slow on rail. Mm-hmm. I mean, we could be talking works and how they want to, flatten the curb and reduce the plank. I mean, I saw a video today from Trailer Park Boys Bubble, trying to get the curb down. I don't know if anyone of the viewers watch Trailer Park Boys, but, there's lots of prominent Canadians. I've seen numerous, American and Canadian railroad fans, and they're beautiful done. Rapido's got some sample pictures on their website. I've shared them across in our business page. We do have extras of the CNs. We do have extras of the Vias. We took all the balance of the extra O&Rs that Rapido had. The O&Rs look beautiful. O&R stuff is
Moose River.
Mm-hmm. And then probably followed by the Cape Breton in central Nova Scotia. And then your smaller roads like your Ontario solid white blue paint scheme.
Oh, yeah. Now, I've got 2 questions for you. And, sure. Okay, so as far as what you have in stock right now, do you have one item that you love, that you just you love it so much that you want to share it with everyone?
Has been the Bowser SD40-2 delivered the first run of the SD40-2. Mm-hmm. Numerous CP paint schemes, did O&Rs, did some of the secondhand roads, did the Quebec North Shore Labradors. Beautiful models. Mm-hmm. Has working class lights that can change street colors. Has working ditch. Has the first time they ever did the lock sound select with the full throttle. Beautiful models. chain link detail. It was probably the best post 70s modern model on the market, and arrived just around July 17. Same thing, more paint schemes, did some more ONRs, did some more CP variations, did some secondhand. That one train was 7.
Yeah.
And some of them had door replacements, some of them had missing flags. The other one that I've always loved, I love St. Lawrence and Hudson. Absolutely. I like this one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We did it. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 pieces left available.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lesson a long time ago when I make a custom run that I probably should take 1 or 2 pieces, whether I like it or not, into a glass display case. So one day I can show my daughter, look, Dad did the artwork for this.
That ONR have been running at least 4 SD40s lately, including the repainted livery, and obviously the newer Aero scheme, and some new one. I think it's like borrowed from CP or something. I haven't gotten the full details yet, or at least I can't remember. But yeah, they've been running a lash up of 4 SD40s lately. So if you've got any of the Bowser units, I mean, that's perfect, right?
Well, the Bowser ones we have for ONR is the green. So if you want to do one of the heritage units, there's a great example. They got one of the green heritage ones that repainted. There was an interesting photo a couple days ago floating around. They had an SD40 up there, a white one. And I think it's either an ex-Kansas City Southern or maybe an ex-CP, ex-Kansas City Southern. Supposedly.
I'm pretty sure it's going to get the Aero scheme from what I'm hearing, but who knows, right? It's up in the air right now.
As for, you asked me for a locomotive. I run tons of the Atlas partition cars.
Mm-hmm. They're really good runners, really good detail.
Forestry and wood trade is a huge sector on my layout. He does the Hagersville subdivision, and he has partition cars for a gypsum plant that does drywall. But I mean, those cars don't have to do wood. They can also take spine, other types of materials. I've seen rods wrapped, as long as they can take the weight and the tie down. There's a couple years back. We might do another run again if the demand's there. But that was a one-time run. But yeah, that's one of my favorite cars. I really like these new Atlas Multimax.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a video and some more pictures the next day or 2. But they're super nice. I mean, I got a 2.5-year-old and she was beating the crap out of it. It was taking it.
Because I know that's going to be one of those massive questions.
The box says 22. You can probably push 24. It really should be 26, 28. My biggest radius is 36 on that one where my bridge is, and my small one is 32. The 32, it doesn't look right per proportional, but I was running a unit rack train.
Nice. Is it
like a set off, run off?
Very much overhang on that, or what?
When you get that much overhang, different guys talk about 3 to 4. All depends on how much overhang. I won't run side-by-side rack in any of my curves. But I only have one spot where I have double track curves, which is my one end. And I'll run a train on track 1 and track 3, but I won't run anything on track 2 anymore. I mean, that bridge scene alone is 20 feet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pushing it now, and I wanted to kind of have that approach coming into 4-year yard.
Yeah.
Or as some people call it, Fort Drury.
Now, because obviously you have an insight of, what's coming up and whatnot, but do you have something that you're anticipating, whether it's, something that's already been announced or whatever, something that you're looking forward to getting your hands on, whether it's within the next year or so?
It's probably going to be the Athearn Genesis Triclops.
The Triclops.
FT60Ms. Yep. The pre-orders end on Friday. They've got 3 numbers in CP. I've shot all 3 numbers in Welland. So as you figure, it's a given that all 3 numbers will be on my layout. Generally, my rule is if I've shot it on the subdivision in the time frame I model. So I model 04 to, but that's kind of the plan on that. Yeah, the Triclops, they only did them in the CP announcement. They will likely do the Sioux. I shot the Sioux before on Well into Buffalo. That one I'm really interested in. And the other one that I'm really interested in is they're doing another run of the Tropicana Orange Shoe Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it doesn't run well into Buffalo.
Lay out your rules. They look nice.
And I just might have a juice factory that unloads modern reefer boxcars.
That sounds awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I'm working with Bob, we bought that bridge when we were down at Springfield off a company called Custom Model Railroads kit. So it's kind of a cool kit. The lift bridge won't be motorized, but the era that I model, the lift bridge, actually the loft main with the sweeping curve and goes right into the container yard, which is a module.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Dane City, so I'm inside, and also do outside shots later down the road.
Nice. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Just some real life backdrop.
Well, you could take it. I could take the module, depending if I ever get rid of the Mustang, get something, more family or, more adult, not a play toy car like my current one. Probably you could take it down and actually shoot it with a boat coming in the back.
Nice.
That would be,
that'd be awesome.
One of my top goals with the module, have it so that way I can fold the legs, and then set it up as it goes by, and then really get that beautiful shot.
Oh yeah, no, that would be sweet. Well, I want to thank you for coming on here. Did you have any?
Doing a second run of containers. The first run was exceptionally popular.
Yeah.
They did raise the price, and there's a couple reasons. One, the first run of containers was actually camping stripes on those containers to make all the colors, to make all the decals. So that's why the price had to go up. But if you notice, I think the first run we were charging between $24 and $25. I think we're now charging either $27 or $28. So it's a couple dollars. Had to reflect the amount of production time and labor time to make them. The only other thing I would say is if people are, wondering on their train getting service or this and that, a lot of these companies are mom and pops. I'm a mom and pop. Yes, I'm during this time right now. I know I'm challenged to, protect the well-being and safety of my staff, well-being of my customers, and also, make it so, we still have a fun environment, but at the same time, health and safety is a priority. Mm-hmm. So, everybody bunker down. We will soon be out of this and enjoy the trains. And it's not quarantine time, people. It's train time.
Train time. Shipping kits daily, right? We need some more kits.
I'm trying structure in your hand. Hey, maybe now's the time that you learn how to hardwire a decoder, or, not the time right now. I mean, I think I'm going to release more track in the next couple of weeks, and so when all this comes out, I can start doing my helix in my lap. So, and you've done great progress on your layout, Chris. You've done an awesome job with the station hops. They really do.
And I did post a picture and then posted it at 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. And then when the package arrived today, I got those lights and I was like, okay, I've got, an hour that I can spend doing this. And I'm all thumbs when it comes to very small wiring. But other than that, everything went together really system going on. I've got about 4 or 5 hubs back there. It just plug and play, and I adjusted the brightness and it was good to go. I'm probably going to post it and trying to bring everything together. It's like a puzzle. You got the outside and you're just trying to fill it in piece by piece, So.
Well, we've done Phoenix. They've made a lot of awesome products the last couple of years. I mean, just plug lighting. Mm-hmm. The first time I ever saw a sample was Ken Patterson on the What's Neat from Marauder Hobbyist. He had lit up an entire quarry and a fish scene, Eastern Maine, East Coast. scene beautiful, and he can control with dimmers and this and that, and like different buildings. The other one that's been popular is they just come out with a tough system, super popular. They're working on a hydropole system, and the other one that's been so phenomenally popular is their fence products.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
I thought I had enough for 3 months, and I burned through it in 3 days. Woodland doesn't have any more. I went through multiple dealer assortment sets. I sourced multiple supplies. Those are the kind of things that, are going to be popular, but people need to be patient that, companies like Woodland, again, mom and pop, they'll get back up to speed, but it's going to take a bit of time. Yeah, there's been Atlas. They've been coming out with a lot of Coca-Cola vehicles. They got 3D printed accessories, a lot of neat freight cars. They're constantly having stuff. So, if people want to see new freight cars, you can subscribe to the Atlas newsletter that comes out, and you get the Atlas monthly catalog for HONO. And sometimes they do different vehicles and other products. So it's a pretty big catalog. Rapido newsletter has always got stuff on there. They did push back some of their pre-orders, but right now things are kind of in a standstill. So, it could be a time to work on your trains, think about your next scene, maybe think about a pre-order too you're thinking about. The time I was in the shop when we still had walk-in, we put on the virtual stream all the time.
There's one guy I know of. He has his own website. I believe it's either O scale or G scale. Eric's train basement, something like that. And he has multiple rooms set up, and he has live stream cameras in each room. I'm not sure how active he is because it's been a minute since I've been on there, but he's running trains like from room to room, and it's a much larger scale. And he's got a massive bridge. So that's the one I usually watch. But what about which are the ones that you watch?
So sometimes there's a couple of guys. So I've been watching. There's one channel called NS Modeler. Mm-hmm. He does a couple live streams every so often. Modern Norfolk and Southern modeling. Sometimes I'll watch Rail Stream. The one that I love, and if I didn't build a well into Buffalo layout, and I had a bigger house, and maybe a little bit more looseness on my ability, I was thinking about building the Mojave Desert and the Tehachapi Loop.
Nice.
It'd be half my layout, and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah. No, that's a big loop. And doesn't it it loops on itself, right? So it bridges over it, right?
The train is 5 or 6,500 feet long before it's over and above each other.
Jeez.
And there's a siding between the I think actually Tunnel 8 and Tunnel 9. And if I got the tunnel numbers wrong, I'm sorry. But the siding starts once you get at the bottom of the loop and goes all the way to the next tunnel. So mine's double track, but a single track to the tunnels. They call it the ninth the world of engineering in the world. I've been there, and I thought about doing the town of Mojave. Years ago, Kelly Schomburg, he actually modeled the town of Mojave. Mm-hmm. So he had the Denny's, he had the diner, he had the yard. He's one of the most renowned modelers present day in the world. And if anyone online wants to follow stuff, Kelly's always posting every day. I mean, yesterday I was watching his pictures and the meticulous on top of the bins. Mm-hmm. And he took a wall bin and styrene and started making different parts. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you can build to detail and still be budget conscientious. I mean, that's the beauty of model trains. You can go to any scale you want. I mean, I opted for those brass bridges because they were already assembled. They would have been painful.
Even building them, that would have been very meticulous to do.
But I mean, I'm not a big builder right now. I'm more interested in getting functionality and getting to that building stage yet. I haven't built before when I was younger, but I haven't all the other track laid. Definitely once things are safe to have friends over, then we'll work out. But
agreed. I'm still looking forward to coming by the new shop myself. I haven't had a chance to come down yet. So really excited for that.
I'd love to do a live stream in the shop, but like, yeah, I've been wanting to get you down, create new content with you. I mean, I think if you come down, we'll go to different areas, that I've modeled. Like, we'll go to Dane City, we'll go to the lift bridges, we'll go to the International Bridge. I mean, we make it a multi-pronged, visit down, and then I come up and see you.
But I appreciate it. You should come anyways.
There's a lot of railfan history that you don't realize. It might be relatively ripped up in a rail trail now, but we can find it.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of spots here and there, but it's very rare to see like CP rolling through. I mean, there's the museum that's right past the downtown there. But other than that, yeah, there's the VIA station. Some areas you might have to travel about at least 45 minutes from where I am to, see some trains. Maybe worth it to you to see some of the rolling stock they have there, and they've got a few of the plows, the big plows.
Maybe we can take the kids to Expo Rail and ride around the railroad park.
There you go. I'd be having way too much fun doing that. I'd be like, "Where's my kids?"
Looking at the static mile while the two dads are on the tram running around the park. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it happened, Chris.
Kids just sitting on a bench with their face in their hands, just shaking their head like, "Why, Dad? Why?"
No, they're probably just for a tablet instead of understanding that they were here for history.
Yeah, probably. Learning.
No, that tablet now. Exactly.
But I want to thank you for coming on. It was great actually having somebody here and joining me. You're not here in person, but it's next best thing, and I really appreciate it. Appreciate the service that you guys have been doing, getting these parcels out the door, and just be safe. I wish your family safe time during these times, and we'll definitely talk soon, and I'll come out and we'll hang out.
Well, I'm starting to adopt more passenger equipment to my layout, so maybe I think you're having a shine on me to get more passenger on a freight-based layout, so we'll see.
Well, that's what happened to me, because I was very passenger, and then I hung out with Dave, and he was like operations and freight this and everything.
Run through on the layout, so.
Well, you got those VIA F40s there, that the 40th anniversary one there.
I got a stash of LRC cars too.
Yeah, I'm excited for those. They've been posting a lot about those lately, so I'm really, really stoked on those.
Yeah, we increased our pre-orders with that. People are thinking about ordering some LRC coaches. They're not coming until probably end of May, June.
And I hear they're coming in 2 batches as well. I don't know if that's 100%, but I heard it was like a 50-50 kind of thing. So 1 month, and then the next month will be the next lot or something.
We'll see how things play out. There's still a lot. I would say that would be fluid, but I believe their last email talked about a split ship. So
yeah,
it all depends timing. I mean, the first time those they came in one shipment. The next time they came split shipped. The third time they came with the LRC locals and the cars at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you're modeling VIA, you have to have LRC cars.
Oh, 100%. And you can't get just one. They're the Lay's chips of the train world,
Well, you could get what's announced, or maybe there'll be some sort of surprise that just randomly show up.
Well, I really hope so. I pre-ordered about 6, and I'm kind of counting on another 3 or 4. Sounds good. Well, we're definitely going to be looking forward to that. Again, I really appreciate having you here. So I'm going to let you go. Thanks, Lauren. Thank you again for everything. All right.
Take care, Chris.
Bye now. I haven't checked the chat in a bit. That was Lauren from Otter Valley. I'm just going to check to see what everyone's been saying. Wow. I'm going to go through this later. I'm sure you guys have been chatting about all the neat stuff that's coming out, just like us. But yeah. Wow. So many trains. I can't even, because there's already Pito stuff. I got to get a diner. I think I have Moose River on order, despite the fact that I have no coaches. But I got to start with something. But if I at least get a diner car, it'll look all right. But I want to show you guys now how you can save some money. because who does not like saving money, right? So I took the challenge. I took the $20 challenge where you go to the dollar store and you can't spend more than $20, but you get stuff that will help you with your layout, tools and accessories and stuff like that. There was so much stuff, but I only got $20 worth, so I'm going to share that stuff with you. First off, foam board. So if you guys have been watching my builds and whatnot and my layout updates, this is the foam board, right? So it's a pretty big sheet, and it's only like $1.50. So I usually I stock up. I get about like 4 or 5 sheets, and I make buildings. I make platforms. Like I for both the building under construction and my train station, because I had to raise it up just a little bit. I use some of that. Always use a sharp knife when cutting it, like a brand new knife, no dull, because then you'll tear it instead of cutting it. It works really well. You can actually build your building onto it and then position it where you want to. Very helpful stuff, and it's cheap. Just make sure again that you use a really sharp knife. Also, I did make a building out of it, making the Ontario Northland shop. And then basically, because I've built the 3D model of the house, or not the house, the building, all I have to do is take my plastic that, or not plastic, it's like a styrene. It's very thin, and it has a brick sheet to it. So you just post it to it and you can cut it out. Very helpful, and it makes it so much easier. So there's that. Glue gun. You got to have a glue gun for putting it all together. These are normally about $3. Okay. And obviously you want glue for it. So you're looking at $1.50. And you usually get a little bag like this, right, of glue sticks, because, everything on your layout tends to be glued down. When I do my weaving for the hills and the mountains, I'm hot gluing it down. And, some of the foam, I hot glue it down. So I go through quite a bit of these. And if it's only $1.50, then, I'll get like 5-6 packs. I've got a little plastic container. I just take it out of the plastic and I load them in, and I take that little container with me wherever I'm working on the layout. And I'm just one after another, popping them through. And, I use it all day long. Another really good one is the paint. This is what I use. It's Crafters acrylic paint. They have so many different colors to choose from. This was done with acrylic paint. So I gave this to my wife. I was like, here you go do that. And she did that, no problem. White paint, acrylic. And of course I use it's like a burnt sienna brown. And that's normally what I do my ground, like underneath the green. All the way around on the other side and whatnot. I get a lot of use out of this. So really, really handy stuff, and it's dirt cheap. So you don't have to go out and, spend a lot of money on some awesome house paint for something like this. It's a dull coat. I need it to be shiny or anything. So white glue. I use white glue on everything. It's about $1.25. Yep, $1.25 right on there. Basically, I use this to glue down my track. It takes a little bit longer, of course, but once it sets, I usually give it about 24 hours. And down the track. And also when you add water to it in the bottle, which the bottle itself, spray bottle, $2 normally for something like this. So I do like a 50-50 of glue and water. Might put a bit of dish soap in there as well. Shake it up real good. And you spray your whatever you're doing down, like your ballast, your greenery, so that it, once it dries, it stays, right? Push pins. You can never have enough push pins. These are only $1.25, and these hold down literally everything. So I hold down my cork with it while I'm waiting for it to dry. I hold down my track with it while I'm waiting for it to dry. I'll pin things in place when I don't want them to move for a long period of time. Kind of like my toggles here. My switch stands, there's two little holes, so I put a pin on each side. It stays right there till it dries, and then I can just easily remove them after. Utility knives. You can never have enough utility knives. I think I've got about 10 of them roaming my layout. I've got like one in each corner. They're all over the place. Also, you always want to make sure, again, when you're doing the foam board, that you've got a brand new sharp knife to make those really good cuts. Also good for taking off ties, cutting foam, you know, and they're $1.50. So it's only $1.25, $1.50, whatever. It's $1.50, and you know, you get two of them. You don't really need like a big fancy knife. The little ones are good too. Painter's tape. That's right. So these are normally $1.50, $1.25, something like that. Set it on here somewhere. But usually with this here, I use the green tape for a lot of things. For example, I outlined this, and then I was able to do the white on the inside. I put a piece of this over the switch, right where the joints are, and then I spray the whole switch. And then I'm able to just, you know, remove the tape after, because I don't want to get any paint on the joints there. And then there's lots of other things that I tape too. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but all over the place. Tape all over. Trying to think of where else I tape. You know, it'll come to me eventually, probably later on. This cloth here, tablecloth. It's actually a tablecloth. I get a lot of compliments and questions about my my curtain. It's $4, and you get a tablecloth. I folded it over to make sure that it was a good height, and then I used my pins to, you know, up into the wood, and you know, doesn't fall, doesn't go anywhere. And because it was the fall when I did buy them. They had the nice burgundy colors. So depending on the time of the year you go, like right now, I'm pretty sure they'd have spring colors, like the light greens and the light blues and stuff. So depending on, you know, what time of the year you go, you might be able to find a color that you'll really like. And they're only $4. So, I mean, you just need enough to go around your layout. That's about it. And of course, last but not least, Hot Wheels. Now, these are a little bit bigger than HO scale, but I don't totally mind. I got to be honest with you. They, you know, if you find the realistic looking cars, not like, you know, they have some that are pretty outrageous. I've got my Lancers on the layout. I've got two of them now, and it looks like I've got a '96 Porsche Carrera as well, a little black car. Richie Rich here is going to go somewhere on the layout, probably in the city scene that I do plan to build at some point. But all that, literally, with the foam board, $20. And it's all stuff that will really help you all around the layout. So if you guys get a chance, and if you guys want to do a video documentation of $20 at the dollar store, but you have to use different items. I know that I took all the good ones here, like the paint and the glue and whatnot, but there's lots of gems there. They have a box of rocks. You know, you can get, they're just rocks. They're clean, but these real rocks. Moss, paintbrushes, which I'm surprised I didn't include, because I always get my paintbrushes from there. The thing that you want to be careful of is that there's many different levels of paintbrush. You can get the really good ones and pay maybe like $1 or $2 more for, or you can get the really not so good ones that are like $1 something. And then you'll find that the little hairs will come out, and you definitely don't want that on your, you know, rolling stock or wherever it is that you're painting with them. Make sure you invest a little bit more, because obviously it's a paintbrush and you're going to be using it in certain parts of the layout. and I use those. The reason why I get those from the dollar store and I don't get the really fancy ones is because I'll use it with the glue. I will put the glob of glue around, and then I just take the paintbrush and I spread it around like that. Then I just do the shaker over it. So if you guys are ever at the dollar store and you want to do this, it's just a $20 limit. Of course, I didn't include tax here because this says, it's tax. You don't really, I'm not going to start doing some crazy math here with the tax. But yeah, so that's just a little tidbit there that I put together so that you guys can save some money. Hopefully it helps. And you can use it whether you're, building a module or a whole layout. So, but I did want to do a shout out. This shout out to me is really special because I was actually featured on this gentleman's channel this past week, 2 weeks, at least a week ago. N-Scale Union Pacific Evanston subdivision. It's a mouthful. His name is Roy Smith. And basically, he had contacted me. He reached out, and he was like, "I really like your layout. I really like you, as in me." I was like, "Yeah, sure. If you want to do a little thing or talk about my layout or show a picture, sure." Like, I'm not one for self publicizing or whatever, but I watched the show that he did. Every Tuesday he actually does a series, and it's his dispatch series, and I was featured on number 49, which aired on March 17th. He's very community orientated. He's all about the community, the railroad community and the hobby, and I really like that about him. And he's a very positive guy. He's very nice. He's a gentleman, and I find that he has a whole community. It's like a community within a community, and by that, it's like a whole bunch of modelers that it's hard to explain. I don't know, but he's a really good guy, and I think you guys should really check out his channel. Tell him I said hi. He also has a lot of informative videos. He does a Saturday morning layout update every Saturday morning. I could only aspire to be able to do a layout update every Saturday morning, but he actually does it, and he shows off a lot of great stuff and a lot of work. He's got a lot of a layout there. It's a big layout. At least it looks big, but yeah. And also during his shows, he often shows layout pictures of his subscribers. And you can also follow him on Facebook under the same name, N-Scale Union Pacific Evanston Subdivision. And you can send him your photos and whatnot, and you might get featured on his channel as well. So, big shout out to Roy. You're a great guy. Thanks for having me and showing off my layout on your channel. Really appreciate it. But yeah, so go check him out. Great guy. But that's it. That's all she wrote. It's been an hour and a half, and I'm tired. I want to run some trains, but we're gonna save that for another day. I know you guys probably wanted to see the trains run, but I'm going to save that. I've got a couple of unboxing videos to post, so you'll be able to see them. And also, in 3 weeks, I lost the page and then I found it again because I thought I was done. The next live train run, which is April 16th, that's in 3 weeks. So if you're still new to the channel, or if you're not aware, or if you've never seen it, or if this is your first time here, I do like an hour to 2 hours of running trains. So I usually pick a spot. I usually have some guests over that want to run some cool trains. I'm not sure if anybody will be here for that one. Might just be me. Normally, I don't really run trains. It's everybody else running trains, which is totally fine with me. But this time, I might get to run some trains, so that'll be cool. I've got a lot of new industries now that I'd like to try out and see if we can do some switching of some cars and whatnot. So that'll be April 16th. But then we've got the next GVO After Dark, which is scheduled for April 30th. Now, this one's going to be a special episode. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I'm doing a CN themed GVO After Dark. So it's going to be everything CN. I've done these in the past with a Rapido themed show, a boxcar themed show. There might be another one that I'm totally forgetting. Did I have any other themed specials, Mark? I can't remember for the life of me. The boxcar one, the Rapido one. Yeah. But either way, there's going to be the CN related show. And hopefully, I mean, I'm doing that one specifically for M&M Rails for Mark. So hopefully he's able to be here for that. If not, I might postpone it and do a totally different show. But that is, I'm kind of banking on that, you know. So hopefully we can do the CN show. If not, we'll definitely postpone it because I definitely want him to be a part of that. And also, he has a bunch of CN stuff that he wants to show off too. So we're gonna do that on. Here's hoping, yeah, on the April 30th. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. So we're good. We're good. That was everything. I hope everybody had a great night. I hope everybody's staying healthy, staying positive, keeping busy with their trains. You know, this thing ain't over yet, but when you see everybody here, you'll know that everything's good again. So hopefully soon. And I definitely need a 5th car for that. As Lauren said, I added some street lights and whatnot. I know you can't really see it right now, but I'll definitely be sure to show at some point. I'm sure I'll do another layout update when I get some more work done, but yeah, should be good. But until then, I'm Go Veer, Go Home. I have a train to catch. Thank you all for coming. And I will see you in 3 weeks for the live running of trains on the layout. Until then, stay healthy.